Powertooldragon is one of the strangest dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's called a dragon, but it's treated like a machine. It's connected to the signer dragons, but it isn't one. Powertooldragon is played by Leo, who is not a signer, yet he's always hanging around signers, like Yusei and his twin sister Luna. And I think the strange contradiction is exactly why it's the perfect symbol for Michel Foucault. You can't help but think of Leo and Luna as opposites. Leo is bold, loud, and outgoing. Luna is soft, sweet, and tender. Leo plays a Morphtronic deck which revolves around machine-type monsters that are like mini Transformers. Instead of turning into trucks, they turn into household items, like a radio or a cell phone. While Luna plays a forest deck with fairies, sprites, and other delicate creatures. As a signer, she plays an actual signer dragon, appropriately called Ancient Fairy Dragon, suggesting her natural and intuitive ability to draw upon the power of the Crimson Dragon.
She was admitted to a special hospital saying that she could hear dual spirit voices. She was a dueling prodigy and beating our greatest professionals at the age of 3.
She knew of the ancient Dragon Star legend. In fact, she knew some things that even we did not. Vital clues to unlocking the mystery of the people of the stars. And more, like the incredible power of the ancient Crimson Dragon.
Leo, on the other hand, has no natural access to these powers. He has to constantly mature, adapt, and apply himself just to barely keep up with the rest of the signers.
Now how about I give you a couple of pointers to say thank you for helping me out, Leo?
Huh?
See, you're a really good duelist, but by spending all your time and energy getting your monsters where you wanted them to be, you didn't leave room to anticipate any counterattacks. Your Morphtronic monsters can adapt. Now you just need to learn how to do the same.
Just as Leo never receives the natural gifts that Luna does, Foucault never gave us a grand philosophical system, like Kant or Hegel. Instead, he chose a more adaptive approach by showing how power operated through institutions and systems. Over time, you start noticing that Foucault's ideas can be applied almost anywhere, not just in prisons, but in schools, factories, and even corporations. You could think of Foucault's philosophy as a set of tools that one could actually use and apply in the real world. In fact, Foucault said this about his philosophy in a 1975 interview. "All my books are little toolboxes. If people want to open them, to use this sentence or that idea as a screwdriver or a spanner to short circuit, discredit systems of power, including eventually those from which my books have emerged, so much the better." And in this sense, I think this is where Powertooldragon embodies Foucault's philosophy of toolkits. Almost literally, it's a dragon that applies tools with power, hence the name Powertooldragon. And this is most clearly demonstrated with its special ability, which allows it to attach an equip spell from the deck to it once per turn, almost as if applying one of Foucault's concepts to a system or institution. Observe the duel between Leo and the Dark Signer Divac. Each equip spell feels dynamic and practical, rather than applied theoretically as an ultimate strategy, especially in connection to Powertooldragon's other ability, that says that if it's ever destroyed, it can destroy the equip spell card attached to it instead. It doesn't cling to one equip spell or tool. It uses and lets go of tools as needed.
Get a random equip spell thanks to my dragon. Just please be the card I need to take out that Ace King. Oh, now that monkey's a goner. Now if you thought he was tough before, just wait till you see the upgrade that I give his hardware. First up, I add the equip spell Double Tool C&D. So not only are we going full-on pneumatic, but I get to add another 1,000 attack points to my beast. He's equipped. He can't be destroyed. Yeah! I'll just toss that Double Tool C&D, and Powertooldragon gets to hang around for a little R&R.
This sounds very similar to when Foucault says, "I would like my books to be a kind of toolbox, which others can rummage through to find a tool which they can use however they wish in their own area. I don't write for an audience, I write for users, not readers." It explains why Foucault is the most quoted philosopher in the humanities, because his philosophy is incredibly generative and applicable. He wanted his philosophy to open up ideas, not close things off. However, many people walk away feeling a bit discouraged or jaded after reading Foucault's work, because one reaches a terrifying conclusion. So everything is about power? Power works and shapes us almost in a deterministic and nihilistic way. There are no real values, we are just pawns in a mechanical system. And in that sense, it shows why powertooldragon is just a machine-type monster. It's not a real signer dragon with real values and goals. It's just a toolbox.
That's no signer dragon. That's a toy you should have left in your playroom. I hope your sister will be more of a challenge.
If Foucault's philosophy is only a toolbox, what are the tools actually for? Well, there is a dramatic change in Foucault's work that many people fail to see or appreciate. It's possibly overlooked because Foucault died before he had a chance to complete it. We see the beginnings of it in his book History of Sexuality, and we only get the general idea of it in a faculty seminar before he died, called Technologies of the Self. And here we see a real genuine attempt to create a kind of ethics after the crushing power knowledge insights Foucault made before. Unlike other philosophers or public intellectuals, Foucault accepts as a given that we are influenced by systems of power, whether we like it or not, but he also shows us how, despite these systems, we still play a part in shaping ourselves, which is a surprisingly hopeful turn in Foucault's work. For example, one technology of the self is a simple notebook. The notebook can be used for all kinds of things, like confession. Confession for Foucault is a kind of Christian influence on culture, where we expose and reveal our hidden desires and vulnerabilities to ourselves. But Foucault was skeptical about the idea of a true authentic self underneath. He was much more interested in using the notebook the way the Stoics did. The Stoics in ancient Greece, instead of confessing like Christians, used the notebook like a commonplace book, which is a book that focuses on collecting quotes, symbols, ideas that they could reference later. Instead of outside institutions of power like the prison producing subjects like the criminal, or the mental asylum producing the mentally ill, the notebook allowed for the subject itself to produce the subject. And I think this is very clearly symbolized in the duel where Leo, Jack, and Luna all face off against Aporia. Aporia is a character that literally gave up on being human because of his complete and total despair for the world. This is symbolized by the fact that he uses a deck consisting of machine-type monsters, called mech lords, that punish opponents with damage to their life points whenever they synchro summon monsters or don't use machine-type monsters of their own. In many ways, this symbolizes the oppressive systems that aim to erase our humanity. Jack and Luna almost represent a blind rebellion against mechanical systems with their non-machine decks. They suffer so much life point damage that they almost come to the brink of death. Literally. Leo, however, is immune because of his Morphtronic deck, which again is made up of machine-type monsters. Even his own dragon is still treated as a machine-type monster. In a sense, Leo has already accepted that he is in a system. His whole personality is about adapting and choosing the right tools at the right time. He understands the mechanics better than anyone else rather than resisting them. But he also recognizes the importance of the life and vitality that Luna represents, and why he spent his whole life trying to protect her. And it's at this moment in the duel that he becomes a signer, and powertooldragon becomes a real dragon as life stream dragon. Instead of finding oneself the way Luna naturally does with ancient fairy dragon, Leo builds himself into a dragon. While powertooldragon's special ability actively applies and uses equip spells, Lifestream Dragon's ability removes equip spells from the graveyard to protect itself. In other words, the toolbox becomes a dragon of life. The tools that were once used to understand power and institutions now become a way of living.